Hello?
Hey Joe, you ready for film juice tonight?
Oh yeah, Andrew, I'm pumped. What movies are we covering again?
Come on Joe, we're doing Blade Runner 2049, Happy Death Day, and the throwback this week is Sunset Boulevard. You gotta keep up, buddy.
I forgot about Happy Death Day. God, what a disappointment. It just could have been.
Hey, save it for the review, Joe.
Yeah, you're right. But, hey, couldn't you just told me this later? Why'd you have to call me at 7 a.m.?
Oh, that's great. All right, Joe, I gotta get going. Oh, and hey, I almost forgot. Happy birthday.
What? It's not my birthday. Why? Hello? Why would you think it's my birthday? No one's around today.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, Jesus. You scared me there. I didn't think anyone else was here.
Happy birthday!
What? It's not my birthday. Why does everyone think it's my birthday?
Whatever you say, Joe. I got you something.
Got me a card? That's nice of you. It's not even my birthday. Happy birthday, Joe. Hope it doesn't stop you from making it to film juice. That's weird. Why would he even say that? Yeah, I'm on my way right now.
Okay, see you in a few.
Dude, what? Who are you? Why are you even here right now? You gotta be kidding me. Hello?
Hey Joe, you ready for film juice tonight?
Yeah, but didn't we already go through that?
No.
Andrew, I think I'm reliving the same day over again. I relived this day before. Someone killed me and I woke up again. It's just like that movie we saw. Who could have done it?
Joe, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, it's not like that movie Happy Death Day. Alright? Just make sure you have film juice later. Okay, I gotta go. I'll see you there.
Yeah. Okay, dude. See ya.
Oh, and I almost forgot. Happy birthday.
Andrew, it's not my... Welcome to Film Juice. This is the only movie review show on WNYF. I'm your host, Joe.
And I'm Andrew Canada. How you doing? Our first movie that we're going to talk about today is Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
We saw this movie a couple weeks ago, and what did you think about it, Joe?
I was blown away. I was blown away. This movie blew my expectations out of the water. I didn't think anything of it when I first went to go see it, and I was very surprised. That's all I can say. I was very surprised with how good it was.
And you had seen the original before you went to see this, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw the original and then all the shorts they posted on YouTube.
Yeah.
They like prologued it, and actually like the way they prologued it, they just gave more character to like some of the characters that weren't on screen as much, like Jared Leto and like Dave Bautista's character.
Bautista.
Dave Bautista was just. I felt bad for the guy.
He was
good
really,
in the movie,
yeah,
though.
he was very good at that movie. He's only in it for a short time, but he does a very good job. What I was worried about, you know, I knew Ridley Scott was producing, and this Denis Ville, how do you say it?
Oh, Denis.
Denis
Villeneuve.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
he did Arrival and Prisoners.
Yes.
I was worried that for this movie, they were going to make it a lot more commercial than the first one, because the first one it's weird. It's an art movie, you know?
Yeah, and
it's super strange. But I think that they did a pretty good job of holding true to that, and it's a great standalone story.
I think another thing this movie did very well is it's like you said, it stayed true to the sequel. I mean, it stayed true to the original. Yeah. It's one of the best sequels I've ever seen, and it was because they didn't commercialize it, like you said. They did everything the way they should have done it.
It definitely wasn't as weird as the first one.
Yeah.
But they didn't water it down the way I was worried they were going to.
But it was also a blessing and a curse because it's doing terrible at the box office. And I think it's mainly because they marketed it as an art movie. Yeah. And people who don't want to see art movies aren't going to want to see this movie. And it's also, like, people hear how long it is. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah. When people hear how long it is, it's automatically a turnoff sometimes. Like, they're like, I'm not going to watch a 2 hour and 45 minute movie.
Which is a shame, because a big part of this movie is the cinematography. Yeah. Richard Deakins, who did this, you know, he's done a lot of Coen Brother movies. I mean, this movie, it looks like a painting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's gorgeous. You just want to watch it with the sound off. But the contrary to that for some people is they might be turned off by the lack of dialogue in certain scenes.
And the way he uses cinematography it's like a language in itself, and that's what you should do when you're making a movie. And you don't need dialogue in a lot of the scenes, and there isn't in a lot of the scenes. You just watch, and you're taken on this journey through this unbelievable world. And that's the next thing I want to touch on is the visual effects and just how good this movie looks. Yeah. This is the best looking movie I have ever seen. One of the best looking movies I have ever seen.
Definitely of this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure
well,
this year.
Roger Deakins, he's been nominated for 13 Oscars. Yeah. He hasn't won, but people say maybe he will win this year. And I certainly hope he does.
This movie does world building perfectly. You are taken in this world right away. From the first scene, you're like, this is a different place. And you believe that this is a different area, and it looks awesome. And the visual effects, sometimes you don't even know when it's real and when it's not real. It's ridiculous.
Which adds into the whole storyline of the movie with the replicants looking so realistic, like people. You can't tell who's a robot and who's not a robot, and animals included in that. So it really, another interesting thing is if we can get into more of that, the
themes,
the blurred line between technology and humanity with Ryan Gosling's love interest in this movie.
Ryan, so a very plain synopsis, because I'm not going to spoil anything, of this movie is there is a detective called Officer K, and which is played by Ryan Gosling, and he is set on this case and to figure out this to figure out this whole thing with this replicant. And then from there, it just goes on, and it unweaves. And I won't go any further. That's really all you need to know. And it just gets crazier from there. And
his girlfriend.
His girlfriend
is
Joy.
Joy, spelled J-O-I.
Yeah.
She's a hologram. She's a virtual girlfriend. But the way that they set up this relationship,
it's unbelievable.
I mean, it makes you feel so much for these characters, you know, they're just light and wiring, and
it's crazy.
I think that it's a very interesting commentary on the future and the relationship between humans and robots.
And it's crazy because like when like you really feel for these characters, you should not like. It's the most real relationship I've seen on screen in a long time, and it's not.
And it's not real because they're not real people.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. I want to say real quick. My Grandpa John saw this movie, and he hated it.
Really?
Yes. He likes the original Blade Runner a lot, but he did not like this film. And I think one of the major reasons for that is being my grandpa votes. When he watches movies, he roots for the bad guy.
Okay.
When he watches Terminator, he roots for the Terminator.
Okay.
So I think that, you know, this movie obviously didn't have as much action as the first one.
No.
Which I honestly
actually, I think
miss,
it
but
did. I think it had.
I think it was quieter, way quieter
really?
than the. Absolutely, no doubt about it.
I don't think. Maybe it's just because this one's longer.
Yeah.
But there wasn't that much action. There was like 3 action scenes in the first one. There was maybe
but there's a
little bit more.
There's a lot more tension, I think, in the scenes. If they're not action scenes,
really?
There's more tension.
I thought there was
way more tension. There's
in
tension
this
throughout this movie, but more so in the original Blade Runner.
Really?
Absolutely. I
don't agree.
I think that one of the main reasons for that is because Blade Runner, the original, is such a great blend between noir and science fiction, and this one really sort of dropped off on the noir.
Really?
A little bit compared to the first one. Absolutely.
I don't think so. I think there was plenty of noir elements in this movie, and also I think the noir honestly was even better in this movie, at least mystery-wise, because in the first movie, Deckard doesn't do anything. Deckard doesn't do anything in the first movie. He is the worst detective in that movie.
You are wrong. You are wrong.
He doesn't do anything.
All right. We're going to wrap it. Real quick, what do you rate this movie?
I rate this movie 10 out of 10.
I rated a 9, and I just want to say I don't particularly like Jared Leto, but he was very good in this movie. One
more thing I want to say, because we didn't touch on actors. Ryan Gosling was amazing.
One of his best performances.
And Harrison Ford, this was his best performance in years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Phenomenal. Did not phone it in. And I like Jared Leto, but that was just me.
All right, we'll be right back with more Film Juice. Thank you.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos. Lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda, poco a poco, aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job!
Or C, find a loophole. When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates.
Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
How you doing? Welcome back to Film Juice. I'm Andrew Canada here with Joe Dorado.
Yes.
Next movie we're going to be talking about is Happy Death Day. This is a movie about a young lady who realizes that she's living the same day over and over again, and the only way the day ends is with her being murdered. So it goes through her trying to figure out who keeps killing her every day.
Yep.
And that's the mystery. Joe, let's hear your thoughts to begin with.
So, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
Okay.
I don't like it. I didn't like it. I went in the movie not expecting much, but expecting to like it. And I came out not very confused and not liking it. I guess confused on... The main issue I have with this movie is I don't know who this movie is for. I don't know who this movie's for. I have no idea, because the thing they do in the movie a lot is they try to pull it off as a horror movie. Yeah. So then they try to scare you, and there's a lot of awful jump scares, which is what the entire intro was about. The entire intro was parodying how bad some of the things in Happy Death Day are. And the jump scares were one of them. And then they also try to spin it off as a satire movie on horror movies, but they don't stick to one of those. They try and do both, and it doesn't work.
It's very strange, because it is in a way a very cheesy slasher film, but it's a very self-aware movie. The characters in the movie express they make jokes about how bad slasher movies are, but they still do the standard slasher tropes. So I don't know if that makes it better, because we know we're doing this, but they're still doing it.
It feels lazy. When it comes down to it, it feels like they're just if we make it look like we're meaning to make it look bad, then it works. But no, they're just...
Because you're still doing that.
They're just being lazy.
So it doesn't really work. The guy who directed this, Christopher Landon, I am pretty sure this is his biggest studio feature that he directed. He's directed before, but he wrote Paranormal Activity and some other movies like that.
That makes sense.
I think he was involved with some of the Purge ones, but
oh boy,
the subtext in this movie is awful. We talked about this earlier. There are a couple small things that I really enjoy from a directing standpoint, things that you look for. Mm-hmm. But then it just comes out and screams the things right at you, which totally ruins the effect of doing that. So when we talked about this, to me it feels like he's not respecting the audience by allowing them to search and find these things for themselves.
He acts like it's like insulting the audience. He's literally like, you guys are dumb. I'm just going to show you and tell you right in your face what's going on. Yeah. And it's the worst pandering to an audience I have seen in a while. It was really awful. One thing that I really did not like that this movie did is some of the shot choices were just they were just so much.
Choices.
And I'll reference the intro of the show again, where the running scene, where it just like curves in like the hallway. That's completely making fun of one of the scenes in the movie, in which what happens is they just start spinning the camera randomly, and then they do some weird. It's like, why?
Which I think
why?
I think that was a choice. I think he was trying something, and you have to respect that in a way. Exactly, but it seemed a little disorienting. Like you only need one, like Dutch angle or a little bit. You don't need everything.
Can we talk about the biggest flaw in this movie? Okay, wait. Before we talk about the biggest flaw, let me just say the one thing I did like about the movie, and it has nothing to do with the movie almost, is the intro of the movie is the Universal Pictures logo, and every time they start it, they like restart it, so it's like they're constantly like restarting the logo, and it's like, that's clever, but that was it.
I thought it was okay.
That was it. Anyways, the biggest flaw in this movie, and I think we both agree, is the person who does the killing in the movie. When you find out who it is, which, by the way, it is the most predictable person in this movie.
Yeah, you'll most likely be able to guess it within the first 15 minutes.
You find out right away, basically, and they try to like lead you off of this person, like, oh, it's not this person, but it's totally this person.
And then it's just, it was a strange roller coaster ride in that respect.
But the person who actually kills her, when you find out who does it, has the worst motive. Oh my God. The worst motive I have ever seen for a murder in a movie.
Watch it just to watch that, honestly, because it's so bad, and we want to hear your thoughts about it if you watch this movie, about the motive that this character has.
God.
Another thing we should talk about.
I'm gonna say the motive. I'm gonna say it.
No, do not.
Can I say the motive?
No spoilers. We don't spoil on the show. We can't do it. But it is so bad. It's so ridiculous. I love it.
And at the end is just bad too. The end just is terrible. How they just ended off, and then they have this little cute Groundhog Day reference at the end, and it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Which
is another thing the movie is being self-aware. But what's interesting about the movie is it combines two genres or stories that are infinitely remade, which is the slasher film and the Groundhog's Day, reliving the same day over and over again. It combines those two elements, which I enjoy in most movies.
Yeah, like Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, yes, action and the relive the thing.
Yes.
We just talked about Blade Runner, which does a very good job of combining noir and science fiction.
Yes.
Alien, horror, and science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, it just didn't work.
It was trying to do too much, and it failed at it. It really did. And one thing I just wanted to say, I'm ragging on the movie, and I just needed to say I did like parts of this movie.
Yeah,
there were parts of this movie
were some parts that were
cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that was interesting. But
a couple good shots as well.
Yeah, but the bad just overweighed it, and it was
really
just
did.
it insulted me personally as an audience member of how they did this kind of stuff. It was frustrating. And also the supernatural aspect just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, they did that.
Yeah. But anyways, what would you rate this movie, Andrew?
I would give this movie a 4.
You give it a 4?
Yeah, which I feel is surprisingly high.
Yeah, but we ragged on it a little bit. I'd give it I'd give it a 4 out of 10 as well.
Yeah.
There was parts I enjoyed, but it just wasn't. It wasn't okay. It wasn't at the okay mark. It was right below okay.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to another break. We'll be right back with more Film Juice. See you in a minute.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Welcome back to Film Juice. I'm your host, Joe Dorado.
Andrew Canada.
And the last movie we are doing today, we're doing a throwback movie.
Yep, this is our throwback of the week.
Every week we're going to do a different throwback movie. This week we did Sunset Boulevard. Yep. And yeah, so the movie follows a detective named Bill, I can't remember his name.
Joe Giles.
Joe Giles. And this actress named
Norma Desmond.
Norma Desmond. And
played by Gloria Swanson.
Yes. And the whole movie revolves around their relationship and I said detective. He's not a detective.
No,
he's a writer.
Not. Yeah.
He's a writer. Yeah. I'm butchering this synopsis.
It's okay, Joe.
But yeah, the writer and this actress, and it's just about their relationship.
Yeah.
And yeah, and how the movie unfolds from there. And it talks about midlife crises, and it hits on a lot of that kind of stuff.
Getting old.
Yeah, getting old and all that. But anyways, what do you
fear of becoming irrelevant, I think, is a big part of this movie.
So what did you think of this? What do you think of this movie?
I love this movie, and I love thinking about this movie because I feel like there are a lot of different things for people to have disagreements on.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, my least favorite part of the movie is the lead, William Holden.
Really?
He is awful in this movie.
Oh, really?
He does a terrible job. I understand that there are noir elements in this, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yep.
But I thought that he was just stiff and brings down the whole movie. Because if you look at someone like Humphrey Bogart or the actor in Double Indemnity, whose name I can't remember right now, those guys play, similar characters. The lead in a noir film.
Okay.
But there's something more to them, they're more like tough guys. But William Holden's character just seems kind of whiny almost, and he's just I feel like he's just a bad actor.
I didn't mind him. I didn't really think he did a terrible job. I also don't think his character was very well written to be interesting. I feel like he was the character. I just didn't think his character was interesting at all to begin with. So I don't think the actor. I thought he did a subpar performance. I thought the performance was fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was passable. I didn't go wow, this guy's acting's terrible.
It distracted me throughout the whole movie, honestly.
Okay.
Just because playing opposite Gloria Swanson as Norma Desmond, she is amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
Do you have something to say about that? Because I think she's so good at this character. Obviously, the last scene when she goes fully into madness, really, is just phenomenal. And I think that a lot of shots in this movie are good. There's very good use of mirrors. Sometimes the lighting's a little off, but Gloria Swanson is my favorite thing about the film.
I thought, I don't know if it was my favorite thing. I don't know if it was my favorite thing of the film, but I'd have to say Gloria Swanson, she played her part good. She played her part good, but I think the character, and I think sometimes she maybe overplayed it, like to more of a degree than she should have. I think the character is exaggerated in a sense, but I think she overdid it sometimes. And and I'm not even ragging on the movie here. I'm just going to say personally, because Gloria Swanson did play the character good, and I thought she's a great actress in this movie.
Absolutely.
But personally, I hated her as a character. And I think you're supposed to.
Yeah, no, her character is not good.
Yeah, I really despised her as a character in this movie. But I also despised the main character at some points. Because some of the things he does, it's like, you're just awful. But
his motive is not well established.
Yeah, and at the end when stuff happens, at first, I liked how they didn't tell you his plan. And as you go throughout the end, you figure out what he's doing.
Yeah.
He ends up doing the right thing. Well, he tries.
Yeah.
And then, but, I thought the butler guy was pretty cool.
Yeah, me too. I liked him, actually.
Max, his name was Max,
Yeah.
right? I thought the twist with him was unnecessary. I did not think
that was a little strange.
It was just weird. It came out of nowhere. I don't think it did anything to the plot
Not
other than
particularly.
make her seem more weird. And she was already weird.
I think it's just to really emphasize the fact that there was a large infatuation with this woman. And that's something that she was so used to having in her life. And then when she became unpopular, because Gloria Swanson's character, she was a very famous silent film star. And then when sound came in, like a lot of people, she went out. But there's some really good cameos in this movie, including Buster Keaton. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
During the card game in her house.
Oh, yeah. I had a feeling there was cameos in that part.
Yeah.
But I didn't catch any. One thing about this, did I just lose my... One thing about this movie also that I liked was that I thought the other lead character, the writer, the love triangle they have going on, she was the best character. I liked her the best in the entire movie, personally. I thought she played her role excellently.
Yeah.
I wish she was in the movie more, but I understand it's not her. It's not about her.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
And I wish it was just because I liked her a lot.
Yeah, I think she's really just there as
to
almost a juxtaposition with Gloria Swanson.
I think that's exactly.
Yeah, because she has, she's young and beautiful.
Yeah, when I finished watching this movie, I feel like this is definitely a movie I might have to watch more than once. And
I think you should. I really enjoyed this film.
I don't know if I'd want to.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those movies that I watched it and I like it, but when I was done watching it, nothing really stood out to me. Nothing really popped out.
Not even Gloria Swanson's performance, because that is what really stands out.
She was good, but she wasn't good enough to carry the entire movie. I don't think she carries.
No, not opposite William Holden, because we talked about him sucking.
I guess.
Let me ask you one last question. Simple answer. Is this a noir film?
Yeah. I think I'd class, but that's another issue I have with it.
Yeah.
Since it's a noir film, it doesn't focus on that element enough. I think it goes into it. And I think it starts out, especially as noir. Like, when you start out this movie, you're like, okay, it's going to be a murder mystery. It's going into all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the femme fatale and everything.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't do that. It goes into this whole other story, I feel like. So I feel like it misleads you. And at that point, some of the parts of this movie feel a little slow. But that wasn't a big issue. That was just like, I feel like it was just because I thought the story was good.
Because William Holden is so dry. I know I keep bringing that up, but I have a real issue with him in this movie. He's better in Bridge on the River Kwai, which is like 7 years later.
But yeah, when this movie ended, and I loved the monologue at the end from Gloria Swanson.
Yeah. Very good.
It was really good. But yeah, I I don't know, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But at the end of this movie, I just thought, I don't know what to think. It was good, but it wasn't, nothing stood out to me really.
What would you rate it?
I'd rate it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'd probably give it an 8.
You give it an 8?
Yeah, I think
I can see an 8.
And those 2 points off are for William Holden.
That half a point is just because at the end of this movie, I just thought it was good.
All right. Well, we had a great show today. Thanks everybody for watching Film Juice, and we'll see you again next week.
Next week, 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
9 p.m.
next week.
Next week is 9 p.m.
We'll see you then. Thanks a lot, and thanks a lot to our crew and everybody else who helped us out.
Thank you, Dan, for the intro, and also thanks
to
thanks to Taylor Britz for the logo.
All right, thank you. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yes.